Skybound FPV asking me how I rattle off all those stats like that. Well, I have all kinds of tools in the arsenal. What was more impressive was Jesse P last night calling races in the Tiny Whip tent, the We Bleed FPV Tiny Whip tent, while he was flying. He was spectating flying, calling the race. And on top of that, as we go through round 1, round 2, round 3, handing out aces, he was keeping count in his head. He wasn't looking at the scoring sheet. So I'm more impressed by Jesse P's stats work, and also impressed right now by Craven FPV. He was the lowest seed in 13th in this heat, and he's about to be your leader after 1. Making a big statement here in his first matchup of the night. Craven FPV on to lap number 2. Closest to him in the blue is Z Stone. He goes on to lap number 2, about 4 gates back off of Craven. On to lap number 2, we go J4Y as well. And Drew gets onto that lead lap 2. We are underway, not at the midway point. Again, this is the opening heat, so anything can happen. And of course, we expect the unexpected. As you want to look for that chase cam, go on board with Z Stone running in that number 2 spot. Hot on the heels of Craven FPV. They're separated by about 6 feet. Over into that chicane section, Z Stone trying to catch up to Craven. But Craven, remember we talked about him. He's the veteran. He's flown chicane since chicanes were a thing. Still leading Z Stone, and white flag flying. 1 more to go for Craven. 1 more to go for Z Stone, as the rest of the field catches up to get onto that lead lap, final lap. Craven leading Z Stone at the front by 2 gates, and getting a little more breathing room. That 6-foot deficit opened up to 20 foot. Now Z Stone putting the pressure again on Craven FPV, but biting it in the bottom of the tower. We're seeing all kinds of prop damage. Everyone having some issues here in this opening heat, other than Craven. I don't think he has made a mistake. And he is working his way with just 8 gates to go to the top spot here in heat number 1. There is the checkered Craven FPV, your first winner here in match number 3. Z Stone pulling up second. He was the second highest seed in this matchup. 2 to finish up. Rue in third, and she gets across the line, and 1 more to finish. It'll be a J4Y to get it done. 4 up, 4 down, and your first ace to chase, Craven FPV. Again, that quick math, he was 13th in qualifying, and now is your leader here in this matchup. Match number 2. Yep, just send her. Heat number 2. Thank you, Ferry. J4Y with the whole shot. He's in the top left-hand side of your screen. You want to go on board with the leader. The rest of the field chasing him down, because the entire field is going through the triple gate section over to the launch. J4Y up and launching a dive. Now you got Craven right behind him. Then Z Stone and Craven dropping back to 4th. J4Y flying the smoothest right now. And again, Z Stone holding in 2nd. But look at this. Almost made a pass through the orbit around the ladders into the chicane. And Z Stone first into the chicane. Then Craven, then Rue, then J4Y. Z Stone, your new leader. But we have a battle 1 and 2 through the top of the dive into the orbit around Z Stone, then Craven. 1 lap down. 2 to go through the recharge gate. It looked like we went through for both pilots, Z Stone and Craven FPV, with that reset. Rue onto lap number 2, J4Y, about 3 gates back behind her. And the caboose of this train, the Z Stone train, leading the charge. And oh no, Z Stone into the side of a gate. And that was one of the skinny gates, the skinny boy gates that Kenrick put on the track. New leader, and not for the first time here tonight, Craven FPV back up into the number 1 spot. Man alive. Holy guy. Pushing it on here. Still have another lap and about 20 gates still to go this evening. On to our final lap we go. Craven FPV. Now Z Stone onto the final lap. He is 6 gates back. J4Y onto the final lap. Hot on the heels of Z Stone. Look at this. We got a battle for 2nd, 3rd until J4Y got a little distracted. Loosey-goosey has to go back. And there's no longer a battle for 2nd, 3rd. There's now a battle for 3rd and 4th. That hiccup for J4Y opens the door for Rue here to try and get by J4Y for a third or better place finish. Up at the front, it's Craven FPV to the checkered, 2 up, 2 down for Robert, and match number 3 is in the books. Now, if I had my selections, I would have been having a tough time. Who would go for the win on this one? Craven, I'd be 50-50, Craven and one other pilot on this list. I don't want to totally show any favoritism here in this earlier round. Next heat is gridding up. We're going to have the number 13 seed in our over 40 race. Also a top 8 last year at International Open in our over 40 race. Craven FPV, Robert Gentel. Another one of our veteran pilots all the way from Costa Rica. We saw him in our chapter organizer race last night as well. Last year finished in the number 113 spot at the Race Day Quads Pro Championship. You saw a look back on that with our friends Race Day Quads just a wee bit ago. That was a big move, qualifying 188th on the global list, finishing 113th in the world. Are we ready to go? All right, here we go. It's a winner's bracket race. We're going in less than 5. The first thing that I'm going to want to see after this one will be the Hydra leaderboard, because Craven FPV is the guy who was lowest seed and everyone lost points on him. And I said, Craven's going to make some fans here tonight if he didn't have any. I'm sure he is going to have a bunch of picks on him here tonight so far. Right now, he's in the number 4 spot. Of course, we have our TQ Ferry out front. He's got his 2 first wins in the bag. No losses, which means he has Iron Man mode in his favor right now. But he has the field chasing behind him. Z-Stone almost had him, but Z-Stone had to respawn and catch up. Ferry now on to lap number 2. He had a lead of 2 gates. Now it's a lead of about 6 gates over Z-Stone as Z-Stone gets on to lap 2, as does GG Hurst, and as does Craven FPV as well. I want to tell you guys, there are over 160 pilots registered for this event in all of our different competitions. Even though if you watch team racing, the chapter organizer race, the Tiny Whoop race last night, you're seeing a lot of these same names. Well, of course, I mean, you got some chapter organizers here that are over 40. These are the guys that, well, they can get the insurance on the little more expensive pickup truck to haul the trailer. Of course, they're chapter organizers. Of course, they're 40 plus. The slightly more responsible sometimes of the field, but also some super fast pilots, as we're going to see many of these in the Pro Championships. Out of 160 registered pilots, it's the second largest tournament on pilot count in Velocidrone history. However, it is the largest for laps and competitions and rounds and hours of competition and just server time. The 2020 MultiGP Virtual Open. And as long as it took me to say that, it's how long it took Ferry to get his first win. And now he is 3 for 3 across his heats tonight to maintain that Iron Man mode, defending his over 40 championship from the International Open. Second going to ZZ Stone, third going to GG Hurst, fourth going to Craven FPV. This is heat number 2, match number 8, going green. Watching in the chat, GG Hurst, you got a fan, laughing says, get him. And GG Hurst using that encouragement. He's the closest to our leader. Ferry going to try and take away Iron Man. I'm on board with GG Hurst. You guys watching that? I know laughing that was outstanding chase cam right there. That's going to be one of the highlights. If we can clip that one, blade to blade racing, as our entire field only separated by 2 gates, guys. Everyone getting chase cam in the entire field in front of them. The bad news is they're 4th. The good news is it's awesome to watch, but well within reach of the front. Ready to go, 2 to go, ferrying on to lap number 2. Here comes Craven. He goes on to lap number 2 in the number 2 spot. On to lap 2 we go. Z-Stone and GG Hurst. They're grinding it out in a battle for 3rd first. GG Hurst just ahead of Z-Stone now, up by about a gate. Craven ahead of GG Hurst in 2nd. by not much. GG Hurst has Craven FPV in his sights. Look at that, separated by about 3 feet right now. Meanwhile, they're grinding it out for podium or finish position. Ferry is about 15 gates to the good. Whoa. Craven FPV launched himself full send up into second here on lap number 2, just past the halfway point of lap number 2. Craven leading Z Stone and GG Hurst, but all 3 pilots almost 3 wide as they came out of that tower orbit section. White flag flying. We're on the final lap. Ferry's halfway done the final lap as Craven is at about gate 12. Z Stone and G Hurst right behind him. So 25% of the course. Quick math and science separating the rest of the field from Ferry, as he's going to maybe go 2 up, 2 down. He's got his first ace here, and that is, no, this one's done. I forgot the last one. He is 2 up, 2 down. What I started to say the first time was right. Now everyone else racing the line. Craven was 4th the first heat, and it looks like, oh wow, Z Stone making a pass on that final straight ahead of Craven FPV. That was a banger. Z Stone over Craven FPV by 0.042. 400 two thousandths of a second on that dash for cash to our checkered line. And that's going to give Z Stone a pair of seconds. We're ready to go with match number 10. Jay, Flying Ryan, Craven FPV, and GG Hurst. Let's go green. We got to wait from our live streaming team. Just lining the colors. You know what? We'll fix it up in post. I totally butchered it. I started off with my magic mute switch. We weren't ready with our colors behind the scenes. The pilots were ready. Everyone else was ready. We're good to go. GG Hurst, Craven FPV, Flying Ryan, and J4Y. It's a consolation bracket race. Top 2 moving up, bottom 2 moving down. Look like Jay with the whole shot, Craven with the early lead. GG Hurst with issues, so it's Craven, Jay, and Flying Ryan, your top 3, chasing down the green of Craven. You want the chase cam? Let's go on board with Flying Ryan. Move your eyes to the top center, which is the blue of Flying Ryan. He's running in the number 3 spot. As he comes out of that tower dive, we're looking for the red of Jay in front of him and the green of Craven, our leader. And looking for a pass. Look at that, just underneath those gates as they go into that chicane section. You see a splash of red just in front. It's Jay, Flying Ryan, about to make a pass. I also saw Craven off into the wings. Craven going to try and stay ahead of these guys. And now you got a yellow in the mix, man. Whoa, all the colors of the rainbow coming in here tonight. Craven, your leader, on to lap number 2. Then GG Hurst, Flying Ryan, and Jay. Our entire field pretty close together. Everyone separated about 2 gates with the pilot in front of them, other than Craven, still our leader. Got the lead right after a whole shot change and has been holding that flag here in the first heat of the match through laps 1, through laps 2. And GG Hurst closest to the front. Flying Ryan in third, right behind him. Jay at the back of the pack. And looking at that line of sight camera, looking for the green of Craven. You look at all of them going around that 4-stack gate with the swoopy. I like that. 4-stack gate with a swoopy. Craven FPV still in the green in the lead, but GG Hurst has found a bunch of ground and is trying to push for the, oh no, top of the launch twice. GG Hurst now down into third. Craven FPV with a lead of 4. Flying Ryan up into the number 2 spot. That 4-gate deficit. Here on the final lap, we're racing to the checkered. Around the back of the tower we go with Craven. To our checkered line we go. Craven with your first heat win of the match. I'm going to program my sheet here to start counting those wins. Craven FPV has been getting them done here in a hurry. Second going to Flying Ryan. Third to Jay. Fourth to GG Hurst. And once again, we've said this a few times here tonight. Craven FPV, your first ace to chase. Now it's on Flying Ryan, Jay, and GG Hurst to get a win to push it a third heat of the match. Let's go green. Heat number 2, match 10. Coming up after this, all of our over 40 pilots will be on the wheel of names for a $100 mystery prize pack. The winning will not stop until the end of our virtual closing ceremonies of the Virtual Open on Thursday night after we crown champions on the Hobby Wing Pro track. So much racing to get through. All of our qualifying for Rookie, Sport, and Pro are on one leaderboard on this track right here. We reset it before we started our live stream here tonight. And our top three, our top third, our Pro class, our next third, our Sport class, our bottom third, our Rookie class. We'll be working on different courses. Sport class, of course, on this track that Kenny designed, Captain Kenrick FPV. And of course, our rookies will be racing on the Beta FPV rookie track designed by Knee Down. And our Hobby Wing Pro track, also designed by Knee Down, will be hosting our top third of pilots. Right now, we're 4 wide, guys, on lap number 2. Everyone has had a turn at the lead, and everyone only separated by one gate. That's first through fourth, one gate separating our entire field. And once again, they're chasing the green at Craven just out front as he goes out of that chicane section. The 4-stack gate with the swoopy at top. He goes out over to the dive orbit. Flying Ryan is now swoopy over to the dive orbit. Craven with a 3 or 4 gate lead, now a 5 gate lead over the rest of the field. Onto the final lap. White flag flying. Flying Ryan in the number 2 spot. GG Hurst right behind him. A battle for second, third here between Flying Ryan and GG Hurst. Flying Ryan was second the last time around. GG Hurst was 4th. So, quick math here. If Craven wins this one, Flying Ryan, if he's second or third, could be good. GG Hurst will need Flying Ryan to drop another position behind him back into 4th, I think, to stay alive. We'll do the math after this thing is all said and done. We're not done yet. We're racing to the line. Craven shutting this one down. 2 up, 2 down with his 2 aces. Flying Ryan with his pair of seconds. And so no math required. And batteries not included. Your top 2 moving up to match number 12. That's a break of 2. Of course, Craven FPV with his 2 up, 2 down aces. Pair of aces. And Flying Ryan with his pair of seconds. They will advance to match number 12. That's a break. We are at match number 12, SS Belmont, Guile, Craven FPV, and Flying Ryan. We're good to launch. It's a consolation bracket race. Top 2 move into our semifinal of the consolation bracket. Bottom 2 will finish up 7th and 8th overall. The over 40 race, field to 35, pretty good showing, and we are green. And look like everybody had a turn at the lead right now. They're only separated by one gate. Your leader was SS Belmont, but he is on his lid, and his respawn somehow put him on his lid again. SS Belmont to the back of the pack. Your new leader is Craven FPV. Go on board with Guile, the top right-hand corner of your screen. Hot on the heels of Craven. There's the chase cam. Just one gate of that double stack ladder orbit apart through the chicane over to the 4 up. There we go. Almost making the pass on the inside. Will it be at the swoopy at the top? Guile trying to make that pass over there. It's still only lap number 1. Guile keeping the pressure here on Craven. As I look at the rest of the field, this is your battle right now for the front in our opening heat. Craven leading Guile onto lap number 2. They're separated by 2 gates. But as every time Guile goes into a gate, he sees Craven right in front of him. Craven now with a 3-gate lead over Guile. Guile bouncing off of the vinyl on the dive gate, having to go back to that section. And Craven FPV, not sure what would have happened with him, but it looks like he may have had some issues. So our top 2 with issues and still only separated by 2 gates here just past the midway point on lap number 2 with a lap and a bit to go. Looking at Craven FPV again, he's your leader as he goes behind the tower. One more to go through the recharge gate. New battery, new props. It's all good in the head for him. Guile going to do about the same as Guile dips into that recharge gate. SS Belmont getting the inside line, jumping up into second. This is the first heat of the match, and as we know, every finish point matters. And now it is a 3-way battle for second. Craven still leads by 4 gates, but Guile, SS Belmont, and Flying Ryan trading places. Second, third, fourth, or third, second. Looking Go on board with SS Belmont, battling it out with that splash of yellow, flying Ryan back and forth, or stay on board with Guile. You can watch the battle happen out in front. We don't need chase cams. We don't need long lenses. The pilot's bringing you this battle, blade to blade. Holy, I'm on board with SS Belmont, trying to get by Guile. It'll be a race to our checkered line. Will it be Guile or SS Belmont? Holy, and flying Ryan in the mix. I don't know what happened with flying Ryan there. He just went full stick and he lined up those crosshairs just right on the finish gate. I don't know, Doug. Stop, lock and load. Let's launch again. It'll be Craven FPV with the win. Your first ace to chase. It's on Guile. And flying Ryan along with SS Belmont to get a win in this one to push it a third round. Let's go green. They all finished within one Scully, as Two Dog RC would say. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Looking at the chat there, Chris Thomas, our founder and CEO of MultiGP, enjoying the over 40 race. Of course, we had a blast last year over on the intermediate track at IO, which is the sport class track at VO, watching our chapter organizers win. Of course, deja vu all over again. Ferry, the pilot to beat in their finals here. We'll see who's going to join them. And Chris Thomas is on baby duty. Of course, our congratulations to the whole Thomas family. Of course, Mama Stacy, along with big sisters Savannah and Rachel. They have a new baby boy brother, Wyatt Christopher, and Chris Thomas on baby duty. And if we were sitting there at IO, I'd say, haha, you said duty. And then he would say, haha, this is the over 40 race, so I'm going to tell dad jokes. And I'd be like, are you really going to say that, Chris Thomas? He's like, yeah, Scully. How are stars like false teeth? And I'll be like, what does that mean, Chris Thomas? He's like, they both come out at night. And I'd be like, ha, 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 dad jokes, because he and I are both dads and big fans of dad jokes. Craven FPV is the ace to chase, and they are trying their best. Craven FPV holding his own, a lead of 2 over Guile once again in the number 2 spot. Go in the top right-hand top right-hand corner of the screen. I can't look at the chat. It's distracting. My bad. Guile trying to slide up on Craven. Craven working for this one. Remember, the top 2 in this group going to our semifinal. The top 2 in that going to our finals tonight. Guile going to try and stay in there. Guile about to make a pass ahead of Craven. Here on the final lap, a race to the tower. Behind it to the checkered line. And Craven goes 2 up, 2 down. Craven is in our semifinals here tonight, along with Guile. To the final 4 for Chasey Ace versus Fairy and Vex. Let's launch them. Craven FPV making a bunch of fans here tonight. Guile, Z Stone, Benny Mac as well. And we are underway. First round. Again, we love this format. Chasey Ace, we run them repeatedly until someone wins twice. But in Velocidrone, because we don't have to retrieve those drones or repair or charge batteries, we run every single match. There was a big move to the front by Z Stone. I was on board with Craven FPV, and I watched Z Stone pass him in the tower and take the lead. And now a huge switch up. Our entire field here only separated by 2 gates. Guile is your leader, top right-hand corner of your screen. Now Craven, your leader at the red, the splash of red, get in front of Guile. And so Craven, your leader on to lap number 2. Benny Mac in the number 2 spot, then Guile, then Z Stone. Less than 3 gates separating our entire field. That means it's close because they're in the tight section, that open flow section where you're on the throttle without losing any momentum, on the throttle, off the throttle at the very start in the opening quarter here of this track, designed by Kenrick FPV. Sponsored by Horizon Hobby, Spectrum, and E-Flight. Thanks to them for their support. They're part of this throwdown that we're witnessing here, the semifinal, the consolation bracket, over 40 race. Craven still in the lead by about 3 gates, and it's a 3-way battle here for second. We know those seconds and thirds are critical when we do the transfer position math, and well, we've had Benny Mac in second, Z Stone and Guile in second. They keep trading places, but we're on the final lap. Someone is going to have to take over second. And, well, looks like The guys chasing second are about to chase first. It's a three-way battle up for the lead, almost making another pass. Z-Stone made the pass by Guile once again in the tower. He passed Craven in the tower on lap 2, passes Guile in the tower on lap 3. We only have about 10 gates to go. Will it be Craven? Will it be Guile? Will it be Z-Stone? All of them grouped together, pushing around that tower and full send. Craven gets there first, then Z-Stone, then Guile. What a huge finish for heat number 1 of the match. We love Supercharged Chase the Ace because we get to do that again. Holy Guile. First going to Craven FPV, second to Z-Stone, third to Guile, fourth to Benny Mac. So your first ace to chase. Once again, Craven FPV, the Costa Rican pilot. The pilot you saw at Champs last year representing is killing it here in the Virtual Open. Killed it to the 40 and over race at I.O. in 2019 as well. Let's go green, guys. As Jesse P would say, we want to see a triple ace. That means we need Guile, Z-Stone, or Benny Mac to get by Craven. They did it a few times on laps 1, maybe 2, but you got to be the winner. First one across that checkered line at the end. And Z-Stone and Guile took a turn at the lead at the front, and Craven back out front. But Craven now would have been stuck in vinyl if it was the real deal right there. Trying to turtle mode his way out of vinyl. Craven now back into third. Now fourth, way back of the pack. So Guile and Z-Stone leading by about 4 gates over Benny Mac and Craven FPV. Just past the midway point here, the opening lap, 2.5 laps to go. Guile and Z-Stone go on board with Z-Stone in the number 2 spot, chasing down the blue of Guile just in front of him. Z-Stone through that recharge gate in pretty good form. I don't think Guile recharged on that last lap. He's staying out there. But Guile hasn't made any mistakes this time around. But Z-Stone sliding up, hot on the heels. Only about 8 feet separating Z-Stone and Guile. Guile still leading here at the midway point on lap number 2. Over to that tower. That is Z-Stone's area right there. Snuck in front of Guile for just a second. Guile back on the number 1 spot. As they go through the chicane section, Guile leading, but Z-Stone was hot on his heels at the last gates. Now we go to the 4-stack gate with the swoopy up top. Guile still leading, but Z-Stone had to hit the brakes. Guile with a little bit of breathing room. 1 more lap to go. Guile through the recharge gate, I believe. Z-Stone through the recharge gate as well. Both of them on. Now, once again, evenly seated. Craven and Benny Mac getting onto that lead lap, but they're about 4 gates back off of the Guile and Z-Stone show. And once again, our top 2 only separated by a few feet. Let's call it 6 as they reach the midway point over through the Z-Stone tower. And that's where Z-Stone doesn't pass Guile, but that's where he catches hot on his heels again. Oh no, Z-Stone into the side of the double stack orbit down gate. Z-Stone now down into third. Guile in fine form. He's going to the checker gate, and he will get his first ace of the matchup, and we will run a third time. Second going to Z-Stone, third going to Craven, and fourth going to Benny Mac. And as much as I'm trying to push to get to the mega, I'm going to await the little round count to catch up, because I want y'all to see a little something right now. There we are. Joel is on it behind the scenes. We have a 3-way tie for the lead between Craven FPV, Guile, and Z-Stone on points. However, Craven and Guile each have an ace. If either of those 2 pilots win this next one, they will be advancing into our final, and then it's down to the finish points as well. Then, of course, Z-Stone and Benny Mac looking for their first win here in this matchup. Good luck. You got 2 aces to chase. Let's go green. Heat number 3 of the semifinal. Off to the races we go. Guile with a terrible start. Hit a gate. Was on his lid. He's back of the pack. No stranger to the front of the lead is Craven FPV. But we see that sometimes when people get in front of them, it distracts them. And, well, Z-Stone, closest to him once again, go on board with the green bottom left-hand side, chasing down Craven just above them, as you can see, FPV. Trying to make it happen here in a big way. I clicked the wrong thing. Now I'm back. Craven leading Z Stone by 2 here on lap number 2. 10 gates back. Guile in third. Still having some issues. Trying to clean up a little bit. With Craven and Z Stone 1 and 2. Craven gets the win. Z Stone, if he were to pull up second, they would be your 2 to go into our finals. The pressure is on Guile to get second. That would, if Guile gets second, and that would put him in the finals unless Z-Stone wins, and we're going to run this one another one. If you want to hand out a triple ace and go into the quadruple round, Z-Stone needs to get by Craven FPV. We're on the final lap, almost at the midway point. Z-Stone having to go back to one of the double stack gates. But he's still 2 gates back off of Craven FPV. We're at the midway point. Z-Stone working his way into the chicane section as Craven just came out of it. Now he goes into the 4-stack gate swoopy section. The swoopy on top over to the tower. Z-Stone tried his best, guys. Was not able to catch him. A couple of bounces and rolls right before the finish. And this one is over. Craven FPV in our final 4. Z-Stone pulling up second, and that's going to put him into the finals as well. And that means Guile going to finish up in the number 5 spot overall of our chapter, or over 40. All the way from Costa Rica, we have Craven FPV, a veteran pilot. We also saw him in the Pro Championships, finishing in the number 113 spot, qualifying 12th in the 40 and over race. And here in our final 4 tonight could be our champion. He's been on fire. I think he's won every one of his battles here the last couple of rounds. Over race, the OGs, the old guys are keeping them on the edge of their seats here tonight. Let's go green. Big launch, GL, good luck, GG, great games, Ferry leading, the rest of the field right behind him. I was bragging about this track earlier tonight. You see really close groupings for about the first 20 gates until things get a little complicated about here at that tower. That's the Z-Stone Tower. Unfortunately, he didn't make it into the top 4. He would have made a big pass. But speaking about passes, as Ferry led the whole shot right through until that tower, he had issues on the top hitting the vinyl, so Craven and Z-Stone jumped in front of him. Now Ferry coming from third back up into the lead here on this opening lap. It is Ferry in the number 1 spot. Craven, Vex, SK, and Z-Stone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 2 gates separating our entire field as we go on to lap number 2. Ferry, Craven, Vex, SK, and Z-Stone. Everyone in fine form, and the entire field only separated by 2. Anyone could get to the lead. Anyone could get this win and take the Iron Man away from the reigning 40 and over champion Ferry. Craven back into the lead. Z-Stone was up there for a sec. Vex SK was up there for a sec. Still only 2 gates separating our field, and it looked like Ferry again into a gate in that 4-stack gate section, hit the middle vinyl, so Ferry back of the pack, but still able to get back by Z-Stone up into third. But your new leader is Vex SK. Now he just got taken away by Craven. Craven back lead. Now Vex SK in the lead. We're now on the final lap. Craven reclaiming that lead. It is the first heat of the match. Unless Ferry wins, it is the last heat of the match. And right now, Craven has one thing to say about it. We're going to be going a few more tonight. He believes he's still just about a gate and a half ahead of Ferry. Remember, Ferry had that crash into the middle of the double gate in the vinyl. Ferry's worked his way from hero to 0 and back to hero again. Ferry up into the number 1 spot. He has just 10 gates to go. It's on Craven or Vex SK to get this win right now, or this one's done. It is a race to the line for all 4 pilots right here, but we have our first ever 2-time 40 and over champion. It is Ferry. He does it in round number 1. Iron Man wins tonight. What a run right there. And of course, the finish comes down to how they cross that line. So second tonight, your reserve champion, Vex SK. Third, Craven FPV. And fourth, Z-Stone. What a night right there.